Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 best power forwards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this list. Now, to be honest with y'all, the power forward position is the closest position in MyTEAM when it comes to this type of ranking. Just quite simply because I think the number 10 guy and the number 1 guy are not that far apart, in all honesty. Like, it's really hard to rank this list because of how close together this position is and how many elite cards there are at the position, but also how few like clearly above the rest type cards there are at the position. So it's hard to rank because there's just so little difference from like good to best of the best. You know what I mean? So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. And remember, keep in mind, this is very opinion based, especially with a position like this that is as close as it is. So if you disagree with my opinion, even if there's a guy I left off the list that you like a lot, then you can still keep running that card. Like, again, this is up to y'all opinion wise. But at number 10, I am going to go with Diamond Paolo Banchero. I still really like this card, especially once he has like, if you have one with extra Hall of Fame badges, for example. I think he is amazing. But he's obviously super athletic, 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan, gives him enough size to compete. His jumper's smooth. Defensively, he's solid. When he's badged, he has every single badge in the game. He's just one of those cards that it's hard to find serious criticisms of. At this point in the game, I mean, the only criticism I have is his movement isn't great. Maybe defensively, he struggles a little bit compared to some of these top guys, but overall, he's just so good all the way around. It's like you could make an argument this card's top 5 if you wanted to. It just depends what you're looking for. I think, again, these guys are very, very close together. But to me, I think number 10 is the right spot for Paolo. I don't know. This is tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think this card's really solid. Like, it feels weird putting him at 10, but I think that's where we're gonna go with Paolo. Number 9 is gonna be Jaren Jackson Jr. A lot of good Hall of Fame badges, fast release, good speed, like solid all-around card. 6'10", 7'4" wingspan. Again, if you want to argue this card higher, I got no issues with that at all. He's got good shooting ability, a nice jumper, solid speed. He's a very good defender. Athletically, he's solid as well. His jumper's nice. He doesn't have movement, but to be fair, most of these power forwards don't. So is that a huge deal? No, not really. Like, again, another one of those cards that it's hard to find much to criticize about him because I think he does a lot of things really, really well. So if you're in need of a power forward, one of the more affordable options on this list for sure. Very, very good card. No issues whatsoever with him. Number 9 feels low, but somebody's got to go in the lower end of this list. Number 8, we're going to go Joel Embiid. I feel like Joel could certainly be argued lower on this. I don't know if I'd argue him higher, but if you wanted to put Jaren over him, I wouldn't blame you. Jaren's jumper might be a little better. He's also 3-speed better, but Embiid is a bit bigger player build, 7', 7'5" wingspan. Defensively, he's elite on the interior. He's a great rebounder. Gives you a little bit more of that center type ability at the power forward position, but still is really, really versatile all the way around in terms of his ability to kind of do everything you need a power forward to do. Still able to space the floor, still has the speed and perimeter defensive ability to step out there and guard on the perimeter if need be. Still a very viable, very versatile power forward. No doubt about it whatsoever. So definitely not a card I would criticize at all, even if he's not a perfect power forward card. He's still very, very good. Next, I think at number 7 is a very similar card to Hakeem in that he does everything well, can step out on the perimeter, but he is more of a big man, 7-foot Hakeem Olajuwon, 7'3" wingspan, has that same interior ability. Similarly to Embiid, I think I like Jaren's jumper better, but he's a dominant inside force on both ends of the court. And an elite level rebounder as well. Always gets really good animations defensively and as a rebounder and things of that nature. I actually like the jumper as well. Both he and Embiid, like, they have good jump shots. I think Jaren's jumper is a little better, but the size and versatility those guys provide, at least to me, is the slight reason that I put them over guys like Jaren and Paolo, is because of their physical versatility on the interior against more big men. Now, at number 6, we have one of the best pick and poppers in all of MyTEAM, and that is Bob Pettit. Amazing jump shot, like really, really top tier shot. Only 84 speed at 6'9" is the biggest criticism of the card at this point, probably, is that he's not unbelievably fast. But he is still a good defender. I mean, he's got Hoff brick wall, movable paint patroller, post lockdown, rebound chaser, elite level rebounder, 90 interior, has Hoff limitless. He's going to hold his own defensively still. He's got an elite level jumper. Really is going to stretch the floor as well as any card on this list. Might be the best popper on this list, period. in all honesty. The biggest criticism is that lack of size compared to, or on top of the lack of speed. So if you're looking for something to criticize, that is the thing you criticize with this card. But he is still, again, in my mind, very, very good. No issues whatsoever with him at the number 6 spot on the list. And again, if you like pick and pop power forwards, there's an argument that he's higher than this. Problem with Pettit is he's super rare, just like all those Winter Festival opals. They pretty much don't exist. So therefore, you might like Pettit, you might want to pick him up as a card because he's an elite pick and popper, but the problem is the card itself is not very rare. There's only going to be a couple of them on the auction house at any given time, which means he's going to be a little bit more overpriced than he probably should be. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be Shaquille O'Neal. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I considered putting Shaq lower than this. I know he's a dark matter. I know he's physically dominant. I know his stats and badges are insane. But he's got a 68 3 ball and a bad jump shot. I mean, it's just simply the truth. He's amazing defensively. He's amazing as a finisher. He's the most athletic, versatile, and dominant inside force on this list. But his shooting ability is very limited. His jumper is very mediocre, and his 3 ball is low. If you wanted to move him down on this list because he is not going to be a threat as a shooter, I get it. But he's the best defensive card on the list. He's going to be the best rebounder on the list. He's the fastest pretty much card on the list, especially with his size. I still think he is one of the most dominant forces in my team, so he still deserves to be somewhere higher up on the list. But I will say, even by my playstyle, generally speaking, he's not the exact style of card that I really personally want to run, but I do understand how good he is. With that being said, if you didn't spend money to get this card already, there's no reason you should try to in these next couple days before he's not pullable anymore. So he is very, very good, but I think 5 is the highest I can put him. And honestly, there's a part of me that wants to move him down several spots just because of that bad jump shot. So I know that might come across as a little surprising to some of y'all because he's the only dark matter on the list, but I just don't think he's that dominant. And like, for example, Dwight Howard. Kind of funny that Shaq and Dwight are back-to-back, by the way, considering they've been publicly beefing on Twitter. But Dwight, I think, is actually better than Shaq in the game, despite the fact that he's 2 inches shorter, because just like Shaq, dominant interior ability, dominant speed, dominant dunking. Now, Shaq's bigger. He's going to be a little better on the interior, I think, as a whole. Bigger player build, stronger, all that type of stuff, weighs more, all that. But Dwight has a better jumper and a higher 3 ball. So there are still things to criticize about Dwight. The jumper's still kind of low. Not the best anyway. I don't love the upper. His base really isn't bad this year. The upper isn't great. 74 3 ball is good enough, especially with shooting badges added. It's not great though. Like, you'd love to see that in the 80s, but it's Dwight Howard. Are you shocked? It's not really, right? You add a couple shooting badges like a set shot special, slippery off ball, dead eye, and then add a couple playmaking badges like a lightning launch, like a break starter. And you're going to have yourself a really complete center who's going to dominate on the interior, really complete power forward. Honestly, he might fit better at power forward than he does at center in this game because of the fact he's only 6'10". Really, I think his athletic ability at the 4 is probably one of his best attributes. So again, really great card. Love the speed, size, physical ability combination that he has. And I think he's an elite card. Number 3, this will be the most surprising placement on the list. I'm fully aware. Bob McAdoo. I think this card places right here because, look, very similar to Dwight in that dominant interior, dominant rebounder, dominant dunker, great speed. Yes, he's only 6'9". He's got a good enough player build. He has a much better jumper than either Dwight or Shaq does. He's in the same archetype of card as they are. Even though he's smaller, he is similar dunking-wise, rebounding, defense, speed, that whole combination there. But more importantly, with this Bob McAdoo card is the fact that his jumper is absolutely cash money. That really elevates this card, in my opinion. The fact that he is currently a buyout is really a steal, in my opinion, because his jumper is one of the best popping jumpers in all of my team. So yes, he may not have the best overall, like, everything as a card. Like, when you consider his 3 ball rating and his height and some things like that, there are some things to criticize with the card. I love the speed, dunking, defense, rebounding archetype of card. When you have that with a great jump shot and the ability to shoot the ball, that to me is one of the most desirable options in my team. He's a great card, and for 100k MT, he's a guy who I think if you need a power forward should be one of your top priorities to try to pick up. Number 2, is this card too high? I don't know. Anthony Davis. It's so hard to rank this list, y'all, because I'm not going to lie to y'all. I feel like I could put Jaren Jackson Jr. at 4. I feel like I could move Shaq down to 10. I feel like I could put Hakeem in the top 5 if I wanted to. I feel like I could basically put almost anybody on this list anywhere because it's so opinion-based. But with that being said, AD, he gives you the same type of speed, not quite as much as these other 3 guys, McAdoo, Dwight, and Shaq, but still basically 90 speed. 86 3 ball, 90 dunking, 95 interior. He is a better pick and popper than any of these guys, except maybe McAdoo. McAdoo's jumper is better, but AD has the better stats. And I think that does matter. With that being said, jumper super smooth, definitely better than both Shaq and Dwight's. I think he gives you a little more versatility defensively than a guy like Jaren does, although Jaren's very good. He's got more speed than Hakeem and Embiid, and I think a slightly better jumper as well. Like, for me, I really like all the stuff AD does. I think he's one of the best cards in my team. I understand if you personally don't think he's quite this high, and that is okay if that's your opinion. But to me, I think Anthony Davis is still one of the best power forwards in all of my team. And I think number 2 is a fair spot for him. And then number 1, I couldn't decide who to go number 1. I'm going to be honest. So I just decided to go Giannis. This is tough. Again, if you wanted to argue different guys number 1, I'm totally fine with it. Giannis has the same flaws as some of these other guys like Shaq, or really more so a guy like Dwight. He is very similar to Dwight in that dominant speed, dominant finishing, great rebounder, elite level defender. But the thing about Giannis is he gets every single badge in the game, and I think his jumper is about as good as Dwight's. Like, his jumper's fine. To me, he's a better playmaker than Dwight is off the dribble. His jumper's about the same, his shooting ability's about the same, but he gets every single badge in the game, which does help to be overall more complete. I think he's basically, I know he's not quite as like bulky strong as Dwight is, but I think he's pretty similar to Dwight as a card, just better. And I think, again, very tough list, very opinion based on where you want to rank these guys. To me, I'm going to put Giannis as the best power forward in the game right now. He's over a million MT for a reason. I will say that. And he is a dominant card. Good Lord. I just checked the auction house of Giannis. There's a 16 legend badge Giannis on the auction house right now. What in the crap is that? Either way, Giannis Antetokounmpo, dominant card. Really, really good in my team. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of my top 10 power forwards. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe as well. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.